Dr. Manisha Rathur. I welcome you all, whosoever has joined. We see a couple of people more will be expected to join in the meantime. And it is my pleasure, honor, and privilege to welcome you all and to have Dr. Manisha Anvekar and Dr. Madna Kumar on this launch event. Very happy to have Dr. Madna Kumar, who has been a veteran in servant leadership. Today, he is here to share his words of wisdom to inaugurate this event. And then we have Dr. Manisha Anvekar. I'll not talk much about Dr. Manisha Anvekar because this is her day to talk, and not for me to say anything much more than that. I'll simply, in very briefly, I'll just say Dr. Manisha is a science graduate, an MBA in finance, a doctoral degree in metaphysics from Florida, USA. She holds a PG diploma in Vedic astrology also. She has a qualifications in essential oils, aromatherapy, and then she is a certified life coach, hypnotist, and the list is long. So I leave it to her to do. Few of her projects I would like to mention because we talk about servant leadership and humanity. So she has been doing 3-4 projects which I know. Like one is adult education Aroho, where there is another project for Project Kranti for the auto rickshaw walas of Mumbai. Then there is a project of stop suicides, that is called Life is for Living. Then there is a project called Purna, which is for empowerment of female, child, and women in India. And other than this, there is a uniqueness in Dr. Manisha Anvekar, which is, despite all these things, she's writing a book a month. So this is, I think, last month on 31st, she has released her 36th or 37th book. I'm not very sure about it, but it is definitely more than 36, that I can say. So we have Dr. Manisha, and I welcome Dr. Manisha, Dr. Madna Kumar.
So I want to thank Madhu for putting this together. I want to thank Dr. Manisha for being the first speaker. And I want to thank you all for being here. And I'm sure all of us are going to be benefited. So with that, let me hand it back to Madhu or to Dr. Manisha as you would fit. Dr. Madhu, back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Enlightened, just one word. Over to you, Dr. Manisha.
Yeah. Namaste, everybody. And first of all, let me thank Madhusudan ji for giving me this opportunity and for my beautiful introduction, and Dr. Madana Kumar for inaugurating this program. So before I begin, there is a small announcement from my side, and I know you're gonna love it. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well. This is Dr. Manisha Anvekar welcoming you aboard the journey towards excellence. I'm your captain and crew for this flight. We'll complete our journey in 30 minutes. We have made excellent arrangements for you during this journey. As we move ahead, you will be served a few experiences from a life. There are chances that you might also experience a few moments of spiritual connection with your inner self. If the weather gets turbulent inside of you, take a few deep breaths and keep on the path with me on this journey. I'm sure you will relish these moments. I wish you an enjoyable journey ahead. So now, unfasten your seatbelts, sit back and relax. You are with me now. So this moment is a very different moment in my life. I'm sharing my journey with many people. Few of you I know, few of you are unknown to me. I'm nervous and I'm excited, both. Nervous because I'm going to share a few moments from my life which are very personal to me, and excited because when I share something with you, it might inspire you to do something. because I have been self-taught on the way of spirituality. I have never had any guru or anybody to guide me through it. Whatever I have learned in my journey is all by my own effort, with my meditation, and with my other spiritual practices. To start with, people often ask me, what do you do? So this is something, we call yaksha prashna, like, I really don't understand what to tell people because I'm a spiritual counselor, I'm a certified hypnotist, I'm an author, I'm a seminar leader, I do many humanitarian initiatives, and there's a long list, like Madhusudanji said. So they asked me what exactly you do. So that is what I'm going to share with you. My life has been carved in a very different way. I was born in a Maharashtrian Brahmin family, a very well-off family. We had everything under the sky. My father has a huge house and we had our own rooms. I used to go and sit in my room. And the reason for that was I had my clairs heightened. The clairs, these are the psychic powers which are given to us. Like we are all born with psychic powers. Some people call them intuition, some call them gut feeling. And in fact, there are 8 clairs. And I had all of them heightened to a great extent. And my journey and my challenges and everything began from here. At the age of 5, I wanted to become a doctor, an MBBS doctor, and to be precise, a gynecologist. But my attention was on the metaphysical side of it, the metaphysical aspect of it. It so happened that one night my mother was telling me a bedtime story that had Arjuna and his wife Subhadra, and Subhadra was pregnant at that time. And Arjuna was telling about how to enter the Chakravyu, the world, and she was listening to it. And she fell asleep and the connection was snapped. She listened to the story till the point she was awake. And that was the reason their child Abhimanyu, he could enter the Chakravyu, but he could not come out of it because the connection was snapped. I was intrigued, oh my God, what this could be. I was barely 6 or 7 years old at that time. And from that point onwards, I asked my mother, is it really that way? When you were pregnant at my time, did I hear everything you talked, you read, you ate, or whatever? Like, she said, yes, that's true. So every time I would see a lady with a huge tummy, I would understand because I was just a child of 6, 7, 8. So I would understand that she's pregnant. So I used to go and talk to her. Auntie, are you taking good care of yourself? Are you eating good food? Are you reading good stuff? Are you talking good things? Then they used to ask me, why? What is it? Then I used to tell them, Abhimanyu jaisa hoga. So they used to be very intrigued. Oh my God, this small girl knows so much. At the age of 5, when I wanted to become a doctor, I had created a 20-bedded hospital. I had a huge army of dolls my father had gifted me. And these dolls were like, from all different specializations. Somebody was a pediatrician, somebody was an orthopedic surgeon, there was a gynecologist and all that. I used to prescribe just one drug. There was one sulfa drug in those days. Most of the doctors used to prescribe that drug. So I also used to practice between 6 and 7. Patients used to come to me, my dolls, and for every damn thing, right from a common cold to cancer, I would prescribe that medicine. So how it is related with my life now, I still practice between 6 and 7. I write the prescription of meditation to everybody. And what I practice is my sadhana, my meditation. My psychic powers, they posed a huge challenge to me. I could see astral bodies. I could hear souls talking. I could feel them around me. I used to feel that people are there who are touching me and they're talking to me. Somebody's asking for help and quite a few things. Once I had been to a wedding with my mother And there was a beautiful lady standing with a beautiful sari, and she was looking so, what do you call it? There was radiance on her face, and she was calling me towards her. I looked at her and I really wanted to go there, but her smile was little scary. So I asked my mother, Mama, that auntie is calling, should I go? My mother just looked at that point. She said, there's nobody, baby. I said, no, such a beautiful auntie standing there. How you can't see her? She's so beautiful. She's calling me. Shall I go? She said, no, you're not going. I used to feel very scared of these things. And every time I felt scared, I would rush to my room, close my eyes, sit in quietude, and chant my God's name. I used to feel at peace whenever I did that. And slowly, I started going into a meditative state where I would receive some messages and I would ask some questions to my God. This was all happening unconsciously. The messages that I received, I just could not decipher because a 5-6-year-old child could not decipher those things. I did not even know that this is called meditation, but I started deriving benefits from it. I started feeling that whenever I do this activity, I feel calm, I feel at peace, I feel I'm protected, and I feel that there is somebody to look after me. So I started giving meditation classes in my neighborhood. I was barely 10 years old. And slowly, as I turned 20, I was giving metaphysical parenting classes. So the first lesson that I learned was to do something, to achieve something in life. You have to be precise. Your intent has to be clear because the universe returns everything to you. I wanted to become a doctor. I am a doctor now, but not the kind of doctor that I wanted to become. Instead of giving attention, putting my focus on the physical aspect of being a doctor, I was focusing more on the metaphysical aspect of it. So I did become a doctor, a metaphysical doctor. Instead of becoming a gynecologist, I become a parenting coach, a metaphysical parenting coach. So I got what I wanted unconsciously. You have to define your own success and your own excellence because these things mean different things to different people. As I grew in life, my husband told me to write books because I had so much experience. I started working at the age of 10, right? I started with schools, I started with children, then I came to adult counseling, in adult education. My clientele is varied. My husband told me, Manisha, why don't you write a book? It enhances your value in the market. So I said, no, I really don't have time and don't have inclination to write a book. But he was after me, you should give it a try, at least once. So I started writing a book. My first book is this Chakraview. I took 2 years to write this book, but the major and very important portions of this book were written only within a month. Then I was inspired to write this book. This is for prisoners. Since my childhood, I also had this in my dream that I should do something for prisoners. Why for prisoners? Because I always believed that nobody likes to be beaten up. Nobody likes to feel humiliated. If somebody is doing that or getting that treatment, there has to be a compelling reason. That is why people are doing that. So I always wanted to give this opportunity to prisoners to change their point of view, to look at their life with a different perspective. Because everything we do, our behaviors, our experiences are driven by our past. They are driven by our conditioning, by our beliefs. And it is possible that these people, they might have grown in a family where there is no education, there is a different way of living. So they really do not know what is good and what is not. They can't differentiate between these things. So that was the reason I wanted to give them an opportunity to look at their life with a different perspective. So we go to Indian jails and I give them a small talk, a small meditation, and we distribute this book free of cost in Indian jails. After that, I started writing books. Starting January 2018, I started writing books on varied subjects because I'm into so many things. I'm doing a few things for children with learning disability, so I wrote a book on that. I was diagnosed with what do you call food allergies, and this was a time when it was a huge challenge for me. So this was the book that I came up with during that time. So I always believed to change any challenge into an opportunity. Even during these times when people are crying, I'm not sleeping at nights because I have spiritual counseling sessions from across the globe. And there is time difference also. Otherwise, I generally set the timings that suit me. But in these times when people really need me, I cannot ask them to, call me at a time when I'm free, or this is my night, I want to sleep. So I'm doing that. This is how I help people, and this is what gives me satisfaction. So for me, excellence and success is helping people, delivering my best, and doing everything that gives me satisfaction. After this allergies, after a few 3 4 months, I believe, I was diagnosed with a medical condition that is called fibromyalgia. This is a very different kind of condition. You are not ill per se, but you are not well. It can flare up anytime. There is pain, dull pain all over your body, especially in muscles and joints. When these symptoms flare up, there is brain fog. You forget words, there is no comprehension. Uh, there is a lot of that goes in your mind. Sometimes, when my symptoms are flared up, I fumble for right words. Sometimes I just I do that because I'm unable to bring cohesion in what I'm thinking, what I'm talking, and what I'm doing. But it doesn't matter for me because I know that my audience is always, they love me, they love to hear me, and they know that whatever she delivers is good. Every lecture, every seminar delivers something good to people. So I'm not worried about what people think about me when I fumble. I don't think about anything. I don't feel sad that, oh my God, what did you do, Manisha? I always tell me, yes, you did a great job. And after every seminar, I just raise my hand like this in front of me, then up, and then I pat my back. And I ask each one of you to do this exercise. It's a very simple exercise and it gives you pleasure. It enhances your confidence. It enhances your self esteem. So, from today onwards, after this seminar, each one of you will do something like this. Whenever you feel that, oh my God, I'm not able to do this, but you do it, maybe a little of it, you will pat your back and tell me how you feel after that. There is a lot of challenges in my life. Then came this pandemic when the cook is not there, when maids are not there, and you have to do everything. Book writing is there because I'm on that path. I never knew that I'll be continuing with the book writing because I'm not in any contract with anybody. But it is giving me satisfaction. It gives me pleasure to put my knowledge into words. So I share that. People started asking me, how are you writing books even in these times? Don't you feel anything? I said, I do feel. I'm a human first and doctor and this and that later. I do feel it. But my emotions are my strength. My way of life is my strength. I'm very disciplined. And all this came to me since my childhood because I had so much to accomplish with so little of time. Only 24 hours given to me and to everybody. So I learned to focus on things. So when I'm talking to you, I'm completely here. When I'm cooking, I'm completely there. When I'm with my family, I'm completely there. And that is how I'm able to do so many things in those 24 hours. A very small thing, but very profound thing I would like to tell you is that start waking up early in the morning. It has given a lot to me. When we wake up early, we add hours to our productive day. If I'm waking up at 10, I have only those many hours. If I start waking up at 6 o'clock, I'm adding 4 productive hours to my day. So this was another learning that if you want to accomplish so much, you have to be disciplined, you have to be yourself, and you have to know your strengths and limitations. Because we are all a complete package. We cannot be that only good, good, good or bad, bad, bad. We can be only positive, positive or negative, negative. So you have to accept, you have to love yourself the way you are, and you have to find out the ways that you can excel in life in everything you do. One more thing that I learned is about going with the flow. Uh, there are times that we have so many dreams and we want to accomplish them, but not everything is possible. We pray, oh my God, please let me achieve this. Please give me this, that. Some prayers are answered, but not all of them. There are two things that I learned from this. Either the time has not arrived for your prayer to be answered, or there is something called prarabdha karma. We come with that. We incarnate with that prarabdha karma. And if it is not in your prarabdha in this incarnation, that prayer will not be answered. So instead of crying and fretting and, giving bad name to God and destiny and this and that, it's better to focus on your path, keep moving, because ultimately you are growing. When you are starting from one step to another, to another, to another, you are definitely growing. And life is not a destination. There is no destination in spiritual world. It's only a journey, like as Dr. Madana also said. It's journey. When one journey comes to an end, the another one starts. And this is how you have to keep moving in your life. There was one more lesson that I learned, and it's about yes, I have made a few points because I tend to forget. So that is about competition. People say that there's a lot of competition, that's why they have to do so many things. But I feel that there is no competition in the outside world. Competition is just here. You might like to call me a stupid person for saying this, because everybody is crying for competition. There are so many people in the same fraternity and so many people doing this and that. And how this lady is saying there is no competition? Excuse me, there is no competition. I repeat that. Competition is right here. There is a predestined place for everybody in this universe. There is a place that is well designed for you. Because you are here, you incarnated to achieve something, and that path of you is already prepared. The only thing that you have to do is to recognize that and keep walking on that path. You have to be very focused, very disciplined, very diligent in everything you do. One of my initiative, that is Aroh Asha, a ray of hope. This initiative was also one of my dreams, but I realized it after my mother transcended to the higher realms of the consciousness. So this I started in memory of my mother. She had a terminal illness of the lungs, and in this I provide spiritual counseling sessions to people who are terminally ill and their families. When my mother was not well, we went through quite a few things on the physical, emotional, mental, financial, all levels. I understand that it's a huge challenge. So I started this for them. Stop Suicide is another initiative that is very close to me because I have lost many people to suicide. So that is another initiative. Everything that boils down to just one thing, that you have to understand and realize that you are a spiritual being, and you have to become consciously spiritual. The day you become consciously spiritual, you start doing wonders. People wonder that how I do all these things. It's only because that energy is within me. And I'm not the only one. The same energy resides within each one of us. I'm no different. The only thing is that I have harnessed that spiritual energy within me, and I do meditations so that my energy is enhanced. My strong belief in God gives me this energy and motivation to work toward my dream, toward my goal, toward my everything. I want to give you a very small gift because it's really difficult to take out some time in these times. There are so many things we have to do today. But since you are there in my journey of life, and you could, inspire me to share my journey with you, I want to give you a very small gift. And before that, I would like to share my screen with you, and I will ask you to do something. It's only for 5 minutes. I think I can share the screen now. Yeah, just give me a moment. Yeah. Can you hear the music? Yeah, thank you, Anubhuti. I just request you to close your eyes gently. Take a few breaths. And focus your attention on my voice and this music. I'm giving you the gift of love, the gift of compassion, and the gift of divine light. It is already there within you. I'm only reminding you that that gift is already there, very much in place. And with the same divine light, the divine light that resides within me is combining. So whenever you feel that you are low, you are depressed, your energy levels are not up to the mark, just take this light and you will have radiance. Look within your heart. Imagine a beautiful door and open it. Just enter that door. There is a ball of golden light. That is the divine light coming from my heart to your heart. Go a little ahead. There is light within. There is peace. There is calm. There is beauty. There is confidence. That is the divine light right within your heart. So let my light and your light combine. See the enhanced effect. This light is radiating from your face, from your body, enhancing your self-esteem, your self-image, and self-confidence. You are feeling at peace. You're looking better. You're feeling better. Whenever you feel low, this is the place you will go next. You will open the doors of your heart. Look within yourself. You will find me and yourself over there. Keep this gift forever. I live in your heart forever. Now close the doors of your heart and feel the golden light all over your body, starting from the crown of your head, going down till your toes. From your toes, going up till the crown of your head. Create a golden bubble with this light around you. And feel divine protection. As long as you are in this bubble, you're protected. You can enhance this bubble by doing this simple meditation of entering your heart, finding that light, taking a bath in this golden light, and connecting with me on the spiritual level. Be in this light always. When you feel like opening your eyes, you feel it, absorb it, live in this light, and then you can open your eyes. Before I close my session, I want to tell you that we are all spiritual, we are all beautiful beings, and we are all same from within. If we are disciplined, if we utilize this spiritual light, and if we move toward humanity, we will always do excellent. We will always be successful in everything we do. Thank you so much for connecting with me. And thank you so much, Madhusudan ji, for giving me this opportunity to connect with all of you. I will always be there with you should you need me. You can connect with me on www.spiritualconnect.org. Connect starting with a K. Thank you once again. Over to Madhusudan ji.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manisha ji. Still into that dream which you just brought in within us, still carrying that dream that that is surrounding us. Actually, I am feeling it. I hope everyone present right now is feeling.
Thank you so much.
And there's nothing which I should be asking, because without even asking, you have given us that protection. And I'll again go back to the wife and life phenomena.
Sure.
So the who is forever is answered by life, love is forever. So the kind of love you have given to all of us, I think that is unmatchable. And what more we expect? What more we expect? As I normally do, Sohan, please unmute. I would request if Kapil Sharma is there in this show. He's joined, I think, from Nepal.
Yes.
Kapil, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing. Yeah.
Okay. I would humbly request you to kindly sum up this now.
Yeah.
This session, today's session, please sum up.
Just 1 minute, Kapil, just 1 minute. Sarojini ma'am is also there. She's also from Nepal, and she's the
She's also
president.
there?
Yeah, she's the president of a SARC Council for Women from Kathmandu, Nepal.
Okay.
So yeah, both of them are
Okay.
there from Nepal.
Looks okay. So I would request Kapil as well as Sarojini ji to sum up this one by one. And please honor us with their words of wisdom.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I would like to thank you for this conference. That's why we're getting better as well. And I would like to in my own term, in my own understanding, and I got a very enlightening line. She told that we are born with the psychic power, and we do have a choice that where we could use those power, and it's all up to us. It's all up to you or me that we can use this psychic power in this period of 86,400 seconds. That is always 24 hours for all of us. That's why we do have a time, we do have a choice, and it's all up to us how much we should have to be enlightened or to serve other. And another is changing challenge into opportunity. That was the best line I have ever heard from Manisha ma'am, that changing challenge into opportunity. Yes, we are in this crisis situation, in this challenging situation, but what if we do take this as an opportunity to change the life of millions of people, thousands of people by doing such a nice work. And thank you so much for this opportunity, and nice being with you all here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kapil. Yeah, thank you, Kapil. May I request Sarojini ma'am to say a few words? Sarojini Shekhranji.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I just want to thank Dr. Manisha for remembering me for this session. A wonderful session. Yes, I did go into a deep meditation through your guidance for some time. So thank you so much. As I agree with Kapilji for saying that, I mean, you just mentioned that we all have this power within ourselves. It is how much we utilize it. That's all. I think that's what the lesson that I took from your from this session. And thank you so much for remembering me especially.
So thank you so much once again, all who have encouraged us, by joining this program. This was a beginning today. So thank you so much once again. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Manisha. Thank you, Sarojini ji, and all other participants. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Thanks from my side as well for everybody.
Thank you so much.